Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elevate Your Business. I'm Ed Jurecki, and I'm thrilled to guide you through today's episode. It's designed to inspire and empower you on your journey to business success. Today, we have the pleasure of having Renee Hastings with us. Renee is a visionary founder of Executive Help Now, a virtual assistant service agency that supports ambitious entrepreneurs and businesses in achieving operational excellence. With extensive experience as an executive assistant to top executives at Morrison Management Specialists, Care, and Coca-Cola, she has a proven track record in organizational management and support. In addition, Renee has successfully managed a corporate nonprofit foundation, raising over $246,000 in just 3 years. As a graduate of the Dale Carnegie Leadership Training Course, she also serves as a coach, enhancing her leadership and training skills. As Renee joins us on the show, she'll shed light on what success means to her personally and how her definition has evolved over time, as well as one or two of her top challenges and the lessons learned associated with them. And finally, we'll explore how Renee has leveraged innovation in her business and other work to overcome challenges and achieve her goals. So join me in welcoming Renee Hastings to the show. Renee, it is absolutely wonderful to see you again. How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm doing incredibly well. Thank you
Uh,
so much for being on the show.
oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here today. It is just truly an honor and a privilege.
Well, thank you so very much. So to start with, would you mind sharing a little bit more about yourself and your business with our audience?
Sure, I'd love to. Starting on my journey, it kind of goes way back. I am the granddaughter of a sharecropper who had a large family of nine. They worked other people's land to make money and earn an income for the family. And my grandfather moved the family from the south of the United States to Wisconsin, which is where I came along. And the place where he moved us in Wisconsin was an Amish community. So, as you can imagine, there weren't many people around who looked like me. So, if you saw somebody who looked like me, they were family. So, it is because of that foundation of living in a community where we were the only ones, we had a strong sense of responsibility to make sure that we represented the family well. So we operated with excellence. We were people of our word. If we could make a deal with a handshake and people would know that they could trust it because that's how our grandfather trained us and raised his children that way, and their children raised their children that way. And so that was the foundation of my work ethic and my belief system of how you treat people and how you care for people and be a person of your word. So as I continued to grow up in Wisconsin, my mother introduced me to an organization called the Summer Youth Employment Program. And it was through this program that young people were taken off the streets during the summer and given opportunities to work in companies where they could gain some employable skill or learn and discover what their interests are. So, in my first opportunity, I was given a chance to work at the Madison Urban League, and they had a room full of books. From the floor to the ceiling, the books were from wall to wall, unorganized, magazines, hardcovers, you name it, all different subjects. My job by the end of summer was to have all of these books categorized, organized, and a list of where every one of them was so that whoever was looking for a particular book could go to one place and find their book. I was 12. I did this. And by the end of summer, I discovered the importance of organizing categories, subcategories, and subcategories, subcategories, which ended up coming in very handy along my career as an executive assistant. So this next year that I was able to be a part of this program, I worked for a Black woman who owned a Norrell Temporary Services temporary employment agency. I'm not even sure if Norrell is still around, but I could be aging myself. But back in the day, there was a temp agency called Norrell, and this woman was a franchise owner operator. And my job was to assist her by handing the applications to the people who came through the doors. And when the people came through the doors, and I proudly took my clipboard and handed them their papers, and then I explained to them how to fill them out and what was needed where, and told them when they finished, give them back to me, and I would key it into the computer. And Ed, I'm telling you, something happened when I started hearing the clickety clack of those keys, my fingers hitting the keyboard. Immediately in my mind, I started to think somebody's life is changing. Somebody's life is going to be changed because I'm keying this keyboard with their information, and they're going to get a job and they're going to be able to take care of their families because of what I'm doing. And I said, this is impacting lives, and I love it. One day I'm going to run my own office, is what I said, or own my own business. And so I was 13 at that time. So fast forwarding as I'm going through high school and taking all the marketing classes and all the business classes, the typing and the shorthand. Yes, I'm definitely dating myself. I took them all because it just resonated with my spirit, with my soul, that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people by running an office and being an assistant to a president or a CEO. So I graduated from high school at 16 and immediately went to work and started as a receptionist at first, then a clerical assistant, administrative assistant, an office assistant, all the way up to supporting presidents and CEOs of major Fortune 500 corporations for years. And it was just such a passion that I had to be that right hand that someone could count on and know what it was like to be their confidant. They couldn't say all the things they said to us, to everyone else in the company. They could only say it to us because we were their partners. So I took that experience that I had over all those years. Once my kids graduated from school and I was an empty nester, I still had this passion and this drive to help other people. So I said, let me see if I can get a few of my own clients to see if I can, maybe still work my full-time day job during the day and just kind of do a little something on the side. That was in 2014. And so it was after that point that I continued to work a full-time day job and running my business on the nights and weekends. Well, in 2019, that all changed right before the pandemic. And my day job and my business all started to collide. So I was working from 8 to 5 every day, coming home. I'm a wife, so I'm trying to get dinner ready for my husband, which I was somewhat successful at, not always. And then start working on my business sometimes at 7 or 8 in the evening and not getting to bed till like 2 or 3 in the morning, having to get back up again at 6 to get ready to go back to work at 8. And this went on for months and months and months. And so when I tell you that it was not healthy, that is like the understatement of the century. I called my uncle, who was a businessman. I was like, Uncle, I'm trying so hard to do well on my day job and perform with excellence, because remember, we come from a foundation of excellence. I said, but everything is just bad. I'm not doing well on my day job. I'm not doing well in my business. I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted. I said, but I love it. I have such a passion and a drive and desire. I just absolutely love this business and what we're doing and the lives we're impacting. And he said to me, that's not sustainable, right? You cannot continue operating this way on 2 or 3 hours of sleep at night and it not negatively impact your health. And so he said, you need an assistant. And I said, okay, yes, I do need an assistant because I'm very tired. I am very, very tired. So I hired my first assistant. And while I was on my day job, I would check my emails on my morning break and during lunch and in the evenings, because you're also a person of integrity, didn't want to combine the two. And so I would just forward my emails that I would get from my business to my new assistant. And I would say, please assist, period, thanks. And I just did that over and over and over again. And then before you know it, I was going to bed at a decent hour. I was getting plenty of sleep. I felt rested and refreshed and like I could truly focus on strategies for the future because I was not so bogged down. And then the day came when I no longer needed my full-time day job. And I was able to devote myself 100% to the business. And I've been all in ever since. And it's just been an absolute game changer. The impact that my assistant has had on my life when I was first starting to be in the business full time. And so when I speak to potential new clients, I speak with a voice of experience, of knowing exactly where they are. I've been where they are. And I know for a fact from my own testimony that things change when you learn to delegate and you learn to release yourself of all of this responsibility and have better work-life balance. So I know that is a really long way of saying how my journey got started, but it all was so progressive and just made sense because I just ended up doing what I always knew how to do and just got better and better at it.
One of the things I take away from that is what you got from your assistant and what you're providing others is you're providing them trusted partners because you've
Yes.
got to be able to rely on them. You've got to be able to trust them to do things at the level and the standard that they need. So absolutely incredible. What a great story and what a path that you followed. So today, how do you define success?
So let me back up just a little bit
Mhm.
because I know you said today, but when I first started the business and was in it 100% full time, numbers was my driving factor. So I figured if I made a certain amount of money, then I was successful. But then when I realized how impactful the work was on the lives of our clients, that became my new baseline. It's not about the money, it's about how many lives are impacted by this work and the ripple effect that is caused by this new changed quality of life. So when a client decides that they are ready to delegate more of the work that they have on their plate, and they're ready to free themselves of all of this responsibility and share the load with somebody else, they are more focused and able to be more balanced in their work life situations. And that has a ripple effect because then they're calmer, they're happier, which impacts their family, which impacts their peers, which impacts their coworkers. So it all starts with one executive making a decision that, yes, the time is now for me to stop carrying the whole load and sharing some of this responsibility so that I can have more dinners at home, so I can go to more of my kids' games. Do you understand what I'm saying?
100%. And so you kind of already started to answer this question relative to where you were when you got that light bulb moment of this is how I need to make this change relative to you're working 20 hours a day, getting 4 hours of sleep at best, and the stress and the strain that you were under. Prior to that, what was your definition of success?
So prior to that, it was the money. It was like the money is if I made a certain dollar amount, then I was successful. But that quickly changed to it's no longer about the money. When you start impacting lives, that's where the true value comes in. And when you start impacting lives, then the money just comes because they start telling their friends, or their friends start seeing them operate differently than what they used to see them. So they might be used to seeing them all stressed out and tight and wound up about all and stressed out about all the different things that they had to do. But then their friends start noticing, you're not as wound up as you used to be. You're not as tight as you used to be. You're now talking futuristic type things and strategizing and goal setting and all this. What are you doing differently? And they say, I hired an assistant.
And that
And it
allows you
makes
to work on your business versus in your business.
absolutely 100%.
And so through that journey, there are always challenges. And one of the things that I love to pass along to our audience is what are one or two of those challenges and the lessons learned?
So for me, one of my challenges that I think I had to overcome, and it's a personal situation, being the daughter of a sharecropper, there wasn't a whole lot of money to go around. And so I had this limiting belief that success was for other people. Success, making a whole lot of money was for other people. I just had to work hard and be happy or satisfied with whatever I got. And so I didn't realize that I had this limiting belief until the business started getting larger and larger, and my team started growing and getting bigger and bigger, and more clients started coming and telling their friends. And it just started coming in and coming in. And it just really threw me for a loop that I did not expect. I did not expect to have a problem with success. It just seems so weird and abnormal for this to even be a thing, right? Like, that's a problem with success.
So, what guidance would you provide our audience relative to them maybe avoiding or eliminating that specific challenge out of their life?
I would suggest number one, that they pray. I'm a woman of faith. I believe in God. And so I pray a lot. I pray all day. Like, God probably gets tired of hearing from me. I talk to him so much. But what I discovered was so important was that I start to see myself through his eyes. And if I start to see myself through his eyes, then I'll know that how worthy I am of being blessed by him. And so I started thinking more positive thoughts, positive affirmations, that success is good and that it is for me and that it's okay. And then I surrounded myself with a community of other people who felt the same way, thought the same way, and spoke life and positive words into me while we exchanged in fellowship and encouragement, speaking words of life and affirmation over one another. That yes, you have greatness inside you. You are bound for abundance, and it is okay. It's okay. And it's good. So I started believing these things the more I heard them and started internalizing them. And it just made all the difference in my confidence and how I was able to speak to other people about the benefits of engaging with our business.
Wonderful, wonderful messages. Thank you. And so we're also, as business owners, we're faced with a barrage of innovation that's speeding up. From an innovation perspective, how are you leveraging that to drive your success in business and life?
So innovation and technology truly is what is the core of how we operate as a business. Because our business is remote services, we have to use technology to get our work done. So when artificial intelligence came along, it was so strange at first, but then we were like, this is a good thing. We need this. This is really going to help us with our speed and efficiency, delivering excellence. We must embrace this. And we do. Absolutely. Every single day, we are using artificial intelligence to help us make a difference in the amount of work that we're able to produce, the quality of work that we're able to produce, and the speed of delivery.
Yeah. Any thoughts relative to where you think innovation is going to go in the future for small business owners?
I just think it's going to get more and more refined and more accurate. Right now, you have to kind of question some of the results that you get when you ask an artificial intelligence a particular question, or you're doing some research. You definitely have to do more fact checking today than I think you're going to have to do in the future. I think that the information or the data that's going to be input is going to be so much more relevant, and it will allow you to drill deeper and get more accurate responses so that the information you're providing can be relied upon quicker.
Have you seen any changes in the expectations of the executives that you and your team are supporting relative to the speed, the accuracy, the type of work that they're looking to have completed?
For us, not yet, but I
Okay.
know it's coming. And I know that there are other companies out there who now know what is possible. And so they do have that expectation of their workers that you no longer have to do all the research that you had to do before. It doesn't take you nearly as long to do this anymore. So we expect you to leverage this artificial intelligence, fact check it, and make sure that we're getting the results that we need. And one of the ways that it really has helped me a lot, one of our new clients is making an investment in some real estate. And I told him how much I loved real estate and how that for many years, the industry that I worked in as an executive assistant, And we developed low-income housing tax credit properties with investors who wanted to get a better return on their investments. So these were very large developments. And he asked me, what do you think the long-term impact of affordable housing is in communities where they are placed? And I said, that is a fantastic question. I know that studies have been done, especially since I was a part of, they call it LIHTC now. When I started, it didn't have a name. It was just called Low Income Housing Tax Credit Program. And so things were just getting started. And that was in 1990 or 1993 or four. Anywho, back in the 90s, as the kids would say. So I'm sure that there's a lot of data that has been collected since then on the impact of these developments over time, since we're now here almost at the end of 2024. So I said, let me get back to you on that. And I was able to use artificial intelligence to plug in a question to say, what is the long-term impact of affordable housing on communities? And came back with just case after case after case of what's gone well, what's gone wrong, what should have been done differently, that I've been able to am able to share with this client of mine to help him make a decision about the development he's thinking about investing in and what considerations he needs to have in mind as he's doing the deal.
And my guess is that would have taken 10 or 20 or 30 times longer to do that without the use of AI. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
100%. I mean, because Google is great. I mean, I don't even know if we can say that, but yeah, Google is great. But artificial intelligence on the other levels are like Google on steroids.
Absolutely agreed. I don't even do website searches the same way anymore. I let my AI bot actually help me with all that. Gets there much faster, much more completely, and provides me the information in a structured way that I can then consume it readily and be able to make decisions much more quickly. Incredible, incredible.
It is so wonderful. And it's not going anywhere,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not. Some people might consider it invasive and it is, but the thing is, it's not going anywhere. We have to adjust, we have to deal, we have to acclimate to the new normal because this is the new normal, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. And my thought is that business owners have got to adopt these technologies, but the challenge that we're going to continue to face with this too is they're going to continue to evolve at a pace that's going to be hard to keep up with.
That's
And I
right.
know one of the things that I've been looking for are unified AI solutions. And there are a few that are starting to develop out there. I got an article from a company called Triple Whale just a few days ago, and they've been trying to do that, which starts to unify AI across our individual platforms to be able to provide much more seamless way, much more automated way to work across our marketing processes or sales processes, whatever they happen to be. So there's a lot more to come with all of this technology, and I don't think it's going to slow down. I think it's going to keep speeding up for years to come.
Absolutely. And I just read an article this morning on how other platforms are using it to help develop workflow automations quicker across different programs. So you might have to use one program for one thing and another program for another, but with the use of AI, they now start to talk to each other and you can have one trigger the other to do certain things. Yeah. I mean, there's no stopping it. There is absolutely no stopping it. And it is going to make us more efficient and effective and be able to make decisions better.
Still requires that human intervention. It still requires us, our brains, our creativity, our experience as part of that process.
Yes.
But if this starts to work and I see seamless end-to-end structure, then it pops out and stops and sends us a message and saying, hey, you need to check on this, or you need to perform your action. You did perform that action, and then it moves on, and it'll do things at the speed of light. And so it'll actually work us through the process versus us having to figure out, okay, I got this tool I use for this. Oh, it's time to use this one. So I see a lot more opportunity to come for everyone, but for small business owners to basically compete against one another where, that's the case, or with the Goliaths that are out there, they really have to start to embrace these capabilities.
Right. And I think it levels the playing field, even that you don't
Yeah.
have to be a Goliath to be successful now. And you can compete with the Goliaths, even though you're one of the small fish in the pond,
Yeah.
because you have now these additional tools and resources available at your fingertips. And when you have an assistant on your team that you're delegating these kinds of things to, the more they know about how to use these tools, you don't have to worry about trying to figure them all out. Just tell
Yeah.
your assistant to do it.
Yeah. Outstanding. Final takeaway for our audience. If there was one thing that you would share with them and say, you really must consider this for your life and business success, what would that be?
Get an assistant. Start today. Start today to improve your quality of life. It is never too late to start. You will not regret it.
Thank you so much for that. Any final messages?
Ed, you were made for something great. So go and be awesome.
Oh, thank you so much, as well as you are, Renee. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for joining us today with a special thanks to Renee Hastings for sharing her insights and success tactics. We hope you feel inspired and motivated to tackle entrepreneurial challenges with innovation and adaptability. Remember, success is personal. Define it for yourself, but always remember, embrace change, seek growth, and adapt to the ever-evolving business landscape. Thanks again to Renee and to all of our listeners, and we'll see you next time as we continue exploring the stories from incredible entrepreneurs. Stay resilient, stay innovative, and have a wonderful day, everybody.